Conrad's Heart of Darkness. You just don't shell that part of the world and expect the problem to go away. And anyhow, I mean, these people can't come to the United States. I mean, these Pashtuns that live up in these mountains cannot get visas. They cannot get here. They are not going to attack us. This war has been a distraction for domestic political reasons. You know, it got Bush reelected in 2004, and they're keep on doing it, and McCain thinks he's going to do the same thing.
So not only is bin Laden a myth, the extent to which he may not be alive, and he's largely irrelevant, Al-Qaeda itself is largely a myth, isn't it? I mean, McCain says, I'm going to get Al-Qaeda. I'm going to get him. I know how to win wars.
What is he talking about? 9/11 was a franchised operation. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, in his interrogation, said, listen, I never swore loyalty. I just showed up in in Afghanistan. I said I was going to do this operation. Bin Laden basically blessed it. The hijackers showed up. But it's a franchise operation. These people do not carry ID cards. There's not lines of control. Even Hayden, the CIA director, has said that bin Laden's not in day-to-day charge of this organization, which tells me he doesn't know who is in charge. It's gone away. I mean, Saudi Arabia had a close brush with death after 9/11. A bunch of explosions went off. Their car bombs. But it's gone away. These movements come up in Islam from time to time. They're very radical extremists. They kill a lot of people, and then they go away. And that's what we've seen, is this thing has gone away. We are now fighting the wrong war. We can only make things worse.
So if indeed we're chasing ghosts, and we're lost in the shadows here, what should our real focus be?
Our real focus should be to have, and I'll put this very bluntly, we should have a surrogate in the Gulf. It's watching the Gulf, and that would be Iran. It's not the Gulf. The rim of the Gulf is 90% Shia. These guys are the ones that inhabit the areas around the oil fields. They are a fairly benign group of people right now, and they should be doing it. There's nothing wrong with conducting foreign policy through surrogates. The other choice is to position 1 million American soldiers in the Gulf and fight a 30 years war, which at the end we will lose.
But Bob Baer, it seems highly unlikely that we will either have the imagination or the ability to make some kind of an alliance with Iran because of Israel. So, with whom we have a de facto alliance. And I noticed, but interestingly, what Olmert said when he left office. He finally started to speak the truth. He's basically saying that the Israeli military is run by megalomaniacs, and they think that they can go to war anywhere. And he also talked about the disastrous negligence of the Palestinian issue and how it's going to eat away at that state.
I think there's no doubt that in the first quarter next year, 2009, if we don't do something about Iran, Israel will attack and draw us into World War III. They've said it. I hear it over and over again. These people say we have to do something about Iran in Lebanon, Iran in Syria, and Iran in Iraq. What the Israelis are telling us, that if you don't do something, we will. And you have to look at it from their standpoint. It's an existential threat, Iran. Iran, unbridled, left to go the way it is a threat to Israel. And they don't care about our stock market. They don't care about the rest of it. They will strike. But what we need to do is step into that breach and bring Iran back to a country we can deal with. But letting it drift, as apparently Obama and McCain are going to let this go, will ensure that we get into World War III. It will ensure that the Iranians take out tanker traffic through Hormuz. And this is the worst fear of the State Department and the CIA right now, is adrift.
But you know a lot of the senior Israeli people in their intelligence that you used to work with. What do they think about your thesis, which is, hey, we got it wrong. We're backing the wrong horse here?
The Israelis are furious. They said, you have turned Iran into a hegemon in the Gulf. You people have to solve it. You have done nothing about Hezbollah in Lebanon, and we've paid the price, because the neocons are always ready to fight these wars in the Middle East to the last Israeli. And trust me, the Israelis see it this way. So what they're saying is you have to go back to a real politic, and you have to, and I'll say it again, you have to do something about Iran. Either corral it in, or ally with it, or call it whatever you want, or we will. Because the Israelis were defeated in the 2006 war, the Second Lebanon War, as they call it. They were defeated, and they know it, and they have to do something about it. And that's the backbone of the Israeli argument.
But the only way they could take on Iran would be, they can't do it conventionally. They'd have to use nuclear weapons to take out.
Yeah, which of course would draw us into the war whether we like it or not. I would rather pick a war if we had to fight Iran. Let's say they were insane and we had to fight them. I would rather pick a war of our choosing rather than one initiated by Israel.
So this is the challenge facing the two candidates, one of whom is already proven to be as more reckless, if that's possible, than George W. Bush, and the other one who's basically desperately trying to prove that he's a blind supporter of Israel. So I don't know.
He's not a blind supporter of Israel. He's a blind supporter of the American lobby for Israel. It's two different species of people. The Israelis, you talk to them, they know exactly what they're talking about. They know who these people are, and they make an enormous amount of sense. It is the neocons in this country who refuse to look at the facts that's got us into trouble, and the Israelis. And you know, my book has been embraced by the realists so far. I've been getting emails from Israel. You know, people in the Knesset and the Defense Committee, they love it. I mean, they may not like my solutions. They may think that I'm, exaggerating the rationality of the Iranians, but they love it because it identifies the problem. But, you know, right now we are so tied up in this financial crisis, we're not even thinking about it, really.
Right. Well, just in closing, Bob Baer, you spent, early this year, you spent a month traveling through the Middle East and Europe interviewing car bombers, collectively some of the greatest mass murderers of the 20th century. And what you came away with is the certainty that the car bomb is unstoppable, and it's detectable only if every car moving around a city is stopped and inspected. So just in closing, give us a sense of this future that we're facing in terms of our so-called national security. We're wasting $612 billion on useless military equipment, and the low tech. Remember, the 9/11 guys used box cutters. So
yeah, one car bomb tomorrow morning in Manhattan would bring financial markets down. What's left of them, and would change the course of this election. And McCain would be our president. That's going to cost you $250. Providing you steal the car. That's what the whole thing will cost you. That's how fragile things are right now.
Well, I thank you for leaving us on such
a happy note. On
such a happy note. But your book, as you pointed out, the senior Israeli military intelligence people are reading it. It's something that we should be reading here in this country. The consequences of our appalling lack of leadership and the folly of our leaders in the last year have brought about the new Iranian superpower, The Devil We Know, the new book by Bob Baer, a must-read, and we're offering it up here today for a phone call to 818-985-5735. Thanks so much for joining us today, Bob Baer. By the way, you're going to be here in Los Angeles. I should mention...
I'm going to be seeing you on the 16th, and again on the 8th, UCLA, and then USC on the 18th.
On the 16th, you'll be at the Hammer Museum, which at a forum that I'm moderating. That's Thursday, the 16th at 7 p.m. at the Hammer Museum in Westwood. You'll be on a panel with Dr. Trita Parsi, who is the head of a large Iranian-American organization.